Yeah, good afternoon. Back out again on a Sunday on Mark's Railway Trails, and we're picking up on the first part really of the journey that we did from the bridge that ran over a railway, where a railway ran over a railway, the first one in the world, and that is just behind those trees there at Sutton. And what we've done, we've just come past there now, and we're going to pick up the line now on the St Helens to Runcorn Gap. Now this is where you're looking now. There's not much to see. I'll flip my camera around in a minute as I start walking. That's what came from Monastery Lane in Sutton to the railway. It went over a railway, like I said, the first one in the country really, first one in the world, and that leads on to this part here now, which took you all the way into the town centre on the St Helens to Runcorn Gap, which came from Widnes, from Ditton Junction. As you can see, I've just come down that way, and a good 20 minutes getting through the overgrowth. But we're going to head towards St Helens town centre now, and just flick it round here now. You'll see the first bridge, and I'll keep this running as I'm walking down. There's a lot of climbing to get here, but people in St Helens will know that little walkover bridge. That's next to Morrisons. You go over that bridge, go left, and Morrisons is right there. Like I say, so overgrown up there, so I didn't video that. It wasn't enjoyable really getting through it, but that came from Monastery Lane. So this is the first part really, adding on to Monastery Lane, and we're going to walk it from Morrisons. We call it Morrisons Bridge, that. I'll tell you a little bit about the history. There's one line here, you can see one railway line going down, but I'm pretty certain as you get into it, this used to be two lines, and always a giveaway is with a bridge. I'll flip the camera around in a minute and you see a better picture. I know I'm going to go arse over head today because bramble in here is unbelievable. That's where we're heading, right down into the town centre. But if you look here, that's the first, one of the first bridges on your way in. You got the little walkover bridge for people, which a lot of people call the Morrisons Bridge, and that's a little bridge that goes over to Morrisons. But if you look at the size of the bridge, that was definitely for two lines going past each other. There's only one line down here now, but I'm pretty certain as we get further down this line that you will see two lines appear. I'm hoping so anyway, but it's nice to see that the track's still down. Just here on the side, I'll give you a better shot once we get further in, was Sutton Oak Sheds, where all the engines were stored up. I'll tell you more about that as we get through. But a bit of a trek today to get down this line. And luckily we're just coming out of winter after Christmas. It's not too overgrown yet, but you imagine trying to walk this in summer. It'd be a really hard line. It's hard enough today. Coming over from the Monastery Lane, coming down to get to where I was doing a bit of fighting again to get to where we needed to get to. But again, it's fly tipper's paradise, these places, I'm afraid. Try to get back on the line in a minute. I want to keep this running all the way into St Helens town centre, and hopefully we can get all the way down Yeah, it's just a single line here, but you'll find it'll go to double track, I'm certain. I'll flip the camera around in a minute to show you where we are with Morrisons. What a lovely day to do this, yeah. Kind of picked a good day really for doing it. I've not really come prepared today with gloves and things, which I normally do, because I just wanted to get out while the weather was good. But again, just look, fly tipper's paradise. That's where we've come down. I'll flip my camera up, probably go up the embankment for sure actually. I'll put the camera right up and you can see. But if you look over there now, that's Morrisons Superstore, where the Suck Note sheds used to be. And that used to be Helens Superstore after Suck Note sheds, and then Morrisons built it, took it over Helens. And you can always tell Morrisons Superstore, the brickwork on them is always fantastic and well built. You know, it's not just chucked up, they are well built. A bit like our store at Warrington, they're all the same. I'll give you a bit more history of Suck Note sheds in a minute. But that's where we've come. Like you say, you're just fighting to get through these places now. Again, just single line track, but I think you'll find this will go to double line further on. But just stop here and like I say, you can see it now. There's Morrisons store. Suck Note sheds used to be there. 1880 they were built. Suck Note sheds. And London North West Railway Company. And that was one of my dad's favourite railways, because that's who he worked for. And I often wondered why on all of his trains that he had made or built, he always had that on. Never LNER, you know, like the Flying Scotsman had. It was always the London North Western Railway, and now I know why really, because that's who my dad worked for. And my dad was actually based here at Suck Note sheds for a few years, which I never knew about. So again, I wanted to do this walk again, just to get it in more detail, because you get on these walks and like today I'm on my own, you're looking out for yourself, because you don't know what you're going to find down the line, and can you get through? That's the worry. And it's like when we did Oldham with Tony Redmond, you know, the amount of twigs that he had smacked in your face, because you try and get them all and there's always one. Oh, there you go. Oh, it gets you. And I'm sure, like I said, Redmond did it to me a few times on purpose. But he's getting his own back. But yeah, still single track. But just so overgrown, this line now. So overgrown. I'll tell you more about the history of the line as we get further in and past, hopefully onto a clearer stretch, if we can get through. Old signal covers there, sadly gone. Nice to see. And there you go, you always find, I didn't come in that way, I come the hard way, but you can get on it there from Morrisons car park. But try and stick to the middle now, which is good. But nice to see the line's still down, and still well, looks still, you know, it's obviously rusted, but it's all still intact. Although there should have been another line, I would say, over there, which is been tightened up for some reason. I don't know why you just take one line up and leave the other line down, but I think that was because in the 80s this line now that we're walking going past Morrisons was still in use for freight for Hayes Chemical Company, and they used to come down this line straight down there round the bend near Morrisons, and that was Hayes' Chemical Company. So that's why there is just one line here. That's the line that they kept open for it, when there should have been obviously two. Hayes Chemical Company now is long gone. I think that went late 80s, 90s. Well, that came from Shaw Street, and this is where this line heads to, the Shaw Street station in St Helens. But again, holes in the fences where you could probably get onto this line. Well, it's so high up here, you don't realise how high up you are until you see, if you look at the embankment there and the water going underneath. Let's get you a better picture. There you go. And that leads all into the town centre. And I know where that leads to, those little waterways. They go under the picture house in St Helens. And I know guys that's actually walked them, you know, but I couldn't do it, you know. It's mad enough doing just railway lines, but I wouldn't like to be in enclosed space all that time. But I'm still following the line down now. Hopefully, when we get further on, I can show you, hopefully, where the station was. That's interesting, a little wall going along, and I've not researched that part of it, but that will lead on to Mill Lane. I think that's where that walk up there on the path, that takes you to Mill Lane, so you can hit it from that direction. I remember seeing on my map this morning that you could hit it from Mill Lane, but when I seen the waterways coming in, I thought there's no way you're going to get over there, so I've kind of come the hard way really, but probably glad I did really, because you see the true extent of it. It's surprising how quick nature just takes over everything. Oh, there we go, barricade. Hopefully we can get across this. I don't feel like doing a lot of climbing today, but if needs be, needs be. A tyre wall with barbed wire. Weird. And again, I think this was partitioned off like when the Hayes Chemical Company was here. But as you can see, the brook again going in. That's lucky that it can get over here. There you go. That does lead to Mill Lane. But I won't believe you've got to be so careful on these walks. Razor wire. You know, cut your hand on that. But fly tipper's paradise, these places. But this line now, it's just been, look at that, more fly tipping off somebody. That's not from the railways, that's fly tipping. It's concrete. There we go, another barrier to overcome. Like I say, I know they get a bit monotonous, these walks sometimes. But it's nice to see the end picture where we end up. Bit of roaming, but we're over it. I'm back on the line. Again, so many barricades to overcome today on this one, but so far so good. Twigs in your mouth. But you can imagine trying to do this walk in summer, you've no chance. But again, single line, still on the single line. Now, according to my maps on the old line, there should be another bridge coming up here shortly. But again, well overgrown. Well overgrown. Bloody hell. Gonna have to go up and round. Maybe not. Whoa. Yeah. Again, when you do these walks, like I said to Tony, you just got to do it at a certain pace when it's like this, because the brambles just get under your feet. Before you know it, you're going head first. And when you're on your own, the last thing you want to do. Here we go, look at that. If you see that there, that's where the track, there's a split there, so that shows you there was two tracks. They could split the line. You see it there, and that's all the rubbish, and they could change them points and split the line. Can you see it better? Get you better picture as we go going in. Wherever you find a bridge, you'll always find rubbish, because people just fly tip off it. Unbelievable. And there you go. Not a Co-op shopping trolley today, a Morrisons shopping trolley, because we're right next to Morrisons. Never fails. I've not been on a walk yet that you don't find a shopping trolley. Even in the Miley Tunnel in Preston, what was in the middle of the Miley Tunnel? A bloody Co-op shopping trolley. Ah, here we go. This is better. Woo! Bit of graffiti artists. Another Morrison shopping trolley. But as you can see, that's what we've come through to get here. And what do you see now? Two tracks. Two tracks. Absolutely brilliant. I thought my maps, when I looked at it, it had said two tracks. I was doubting it a bit then when it's just in that single track. But then I remembered Hayes Chemical Company. You know, things come back into your brain when you start walking these things. But you get so, not anxious on these walks, but you're trying to remember things that you're looking for, and you're looking out for your own safety, because, not being funny, some of these places, I wouldn't come down here later on when it's dark, because you just don't know who could be down here. And I know Diane goes mad when I do some of these walks on my own, and she's right really, but you know, sometimes it's nice just to get out on your own, walk it on your own. And I've got quite a few people that want to do this walk, and I've done the full walk when I get to the end of it, from top to bottom, shall we say, you know. But when I do these walks, and I say this every time, I'm not on my own on these walks, because I know my dad will be walking with me, and probably his granddad, although he probably didn't do these lines. He would have done the Manchester lines, granddad. So I've never heard them speak about the St Helens lines, you know. But maybe he did. Maybe he did. I don't know. But my dad never really talked about granddad doing the St Helens lines. And although my dad moved to Manchester, he hated St Helens. And I don't know why. He just, when we were growing up, you know, he loved where we lived and the people, but his heart was always in Manchester. And when he retired, he wanted to go back and move house, but wanted to go to Colwyn Bay and retire there, but my mum wouldn't leave St Helens, so he never got his wish. So maybe Grandad did do this, I don't know, but I wouldn't have thought so. It's quite a long walk, really. I've been out a good hour up to now on this walk, and I just started videoing as we got from Morrisons. But if you look where we've come, well, the first 40 minutes you're just fighting bramble and willow and to get through, and I've nearly gone over a few times because you just get your legs, and you know, Tony found that out when we did Preston. You think you're walking and all of a sudden your legs go. But Tony was going off at a terrific pace, and I told him, when you do these walks, Tony, you've got to slow down. And what I always tend to do is video on the way in, pictures on the way out. But I've got quite a few pictures of this, so it's mainly the blog today, the video. And here we go, is still here, a little walk over bridge. Now when you see bridges like this, it's a giveaway, because where there's normally a bridge, there's normally a station, and we're not far from Sutton Oak station, and I'm going to take a minute here and have a look. We'll flick it round. Now, coming up here now would have been Sutton Oak station. I've been doing a bit of clearing down here as well. This is a lot better now. This is what railway walks should be like. Now just flick it round here now. There you go, that's where we've come from. Like I say, Sutton Oak Sheds, where Morrisons is, right in the corner. That opened in 1880, closed in 67, and the station would have been round about here. It's along this stretch. As you can see, there's a lot of new buildings put up on the side, but just here on the right there's nothing left of the embankment or the walls. Because when I was doing the history on this line today, I've known people that walked it, you know, railwaymen that's a lot knowledgeable than me, and they said, you know, 20 odd years ago you'd have seen the little walls along here, and that would have been Sutton Oak station just here, and then that's where the customers and passengers would get off, and you could cross over there. That takes you to Jackson Street, or you go the other way, it takes you more into the outer town, really. But that station opened in 1852, so it just shows you how old it is. two lines, as you can see, and that run to Ditton Junction in Widnes, and that's why it was called the St Helens to Runcorn Gap. You can just hear the breeze. That's a nice breeze now. And it closed in 1951, the station, you know. So 1851 it opened, 1951 it closed. I actually got pictures of the station as well. Like I say, all these buildings here, they wouldn't have been here then, you know. You can imagine how busy that was in its heyday, really. On its way to Runcorn, you know. And there used to be a train that came from Widnes down this line, and they used to call it the Ditton Flyer. Always came from Widnes. It was up and down this line, you know. 1833, off the top of my head, if the dates, if I remember it right, I'm sure it is. It's around about 1833 this line opened to Widnes, St Helens to Runcorn Gap. So I'll keep walking it, and I just hope we can make it into town, and but just look how well the lines there are. You can see them in a lot more clarity now. I'm made up that we've got this far, really, because it was hard work to get into it. And you can see the two lines there, how they're merging. You see them? Because that's where they used to go off into different directions. You know, you'd get one line here, you see it there, that will go up to Widnes, and then this line here on your left used to bend round and take you to Shaw Street. Sorry, to the junction from Shaw Street. So that's why you had two lines. And as you can see here, the points here, you could switch. And if I just flip the camera up quite high, if you look right over there, we're now passing the Saints Rugby League ground. If I keep this in the air a bit, and then hopefully you can see just over there, that's the new Saints ground that was built. What a nice job they did on that. There we go. This is better, well open now. This is nice to see. Let's see how it goes to one line now. So that one line coming in from Shaw Street Station, and I would say it was two lines as well coming down here. I might be wrong, but I'm sure it was. On the maps it highlights two lines, and it probably was, because if you look over there you can see all the track that they've taken up. But again, you get to there, although it's only one line, you could switch the points. So take it to the junction in St Helens, or carry straight on to Ditton Junction in Widnes, which I've done Ditton Junction. It's no longer there, sadly. But everybody used to come down this line, especially on Challenge Cup Day with the rugby. Everybody used to get on the train to Shaw Street and go to Wembley from this line. Unbelievable, isn't it? I don't know why they closed it, really, and I don't think it was a Beechin's cut, because, you know, Beechin's cuts were 60s, you know. This closed in the 50s, you know. But when I did my own work on it, it got closed really because it didn't have the numbers using it, and probably because there were so many stations nearby. You had Shaw Street Station, and you had the junction, which is, you know, about a couple of miles down there. But there you go. Never really been a rugby fan, even though I grew up down the road from the old St Helens ground in Knowsley Road. I think I took Daniel when he was little. He had a thing about rugby, and we used to go. And rugby then was always played in the summer, and we used to sit there watching it with his mates. And I was actually there on that famous Sunday afternoon when we 75-0'd Wigan. We've never forgot that. It was a great day, watching all the pie eaters walk home at half time sulking, because they're renowned for it, Wiganers, when they're getting beat. You know, being a St Helens lad, we always call it the Wigan walk. And they said they don't, but they do. And we seen it that day. There we go. I've enjoyed this walk this morning, even though it's been hard graft. I've got a few red marks on my face. We got to where we needed to get to. But yeah, the train that came from Widnes, the Ditton Flyer, it used to be up and down this line. And all the rugby people used it from Widnes, because Widnes was a big name in rugby league then. And that's where we're passing now, the Saints' new ground. And you know what, I've not even been in the ground yet. I've been in it to have my COVID jabs, but I've not actually seen inside. But the hospitality of being in on some of the music nights, and it is superb. There it is. But yeah, this is the old bridge now that's going over the road near Saints Ground, and this takes you right into town. There you go, you'll know where we are now. I'll put my camera up a bit. There you go. That takes you right into the town centre. If you go that way, that'll take you up to Shadley Park, near where I live. And you can see how the line bends round. It kind of bends round that way. That's the way we've just come. A bit of a walk today. Bit of a walk, bit of a fight to get through. But glad we did it. I'm going to pause here a minute because I've got a bit of bramble in my shoe. But just look how overgrown it soon gets. If you ever do these walks, I always make sure I've got my hardest boots on, because the drug paraphernalia that you can find down these places. There you go, that's on the bridge. That's going into town centre. And if you're wondering what that barrier is there, this bridge underneath, it's renowned for flooding. And you have barriers when it floods now. The barriers come down and you can't go under it. There's a guy actually got trapped, an old guy in his 80s. He had to be rescued. He couldn't get out of his car. He got stuck in the middle of it. Whoa. Well, there we go, it's in the vegetation again. But there was talk of this they're trying to reopen this line about 10, 15 years ago. There was plans submitted to St Helens Council to open this line as like a walkway from Sutton into the town centre. And it looked like it was going ahead at one spell. Then all of a sudden, obviously with costs and everything, it just never happened. And it's probably happened 10, you know, if it's going to happen now, it's going to take a lot more money. But just give you an idea how high we're up. That's about down the side of the Saints ground. And again, when you do these walks, I always put my big boots on, because now you're coming up to the bit where people can get in here, as you can see there, quite easily now. And you'll find a bit of drug needles and stuff, so that's why I'm taking my time on this walk. But yeah, the 2 tracks still here. Unbelievable. But the ballast has saved a lot of the overgrowth really from growing, but it still gets through in the end. Still gets through. We're about 35 minutes into this walk now, on video. You know, I've been about an hour and 20 minutes on this walk, getting through that bloody vegetation. And just on your right here is a retail park. I'll give you a bearing where